Shabbat Shalom in advance. This performance is happening before Shabbat starts, for those of you who have such sensitivity about that. And that basically means that at the end of the piece, it's okay to applaud, you see, because it's before the service. Not to fish for applause before you've even heard the piece, but just saying, you can respond if you want. So this piece was 20 years in the making. I'm not going to recite for you what I gave you in the program notes. You can read that on your own. I do want to alert you to what's happening in these verses from Song of Songs. I was doing a little research about, the rabbinic attitudes about Song of Songs are mixed. There were some rabbis recorded in the Talmud who thought it was horrible that something as frankly erotic as this would be included in the sacred canon. And yet, we have Rabbi Akiva, I think I quote him in the program notes, Rabbi Akiva, who said that, no, Song of Songs is the Holy of Holies. One of the sources that I noted pointed out that if you have not had the experience of reading Song of Songs in bed with a partner, you've missed something. So that should sort of put you in the mood for what this is about. And what I set in this is two verses from Song of Songs. It's the very last verse of chapter 4 and the very first verse of chapter 5. They are adjacent to each other. And they are a conversation, as much of Song of Songs, a conversation between these two lovers. And they're seeking each other, and they're not always finding each other. And it is so, well, again, read the original, right? Read Song of Songs. But these particular verses, the first one says, Urit safonu uvoi teman, awake north wind and come, O south wind. And just that image, and it is, I will say, it's the women saying it. You can interpret that as literally women or a woman. You can interpret that as the feminine principle in all of us. You can interpret that as it's a conversation between God and Israel. There's a lot of ways of interpreting it, but however you want to interpret that, here is this feminine figure that is saying, let all these breezes come upon me and blow upon my garden that its spices may flow out. And then she says, let my lover come into his garden. If you're not sighing at that point, you're missing something. And so you'll notice in the way I set the music, knowing this in advance will help you hear it. It's set to capture that sort of sense of sighing. And then the men respond, I have come into my garden, achoti chala, my sister, my bride. We're not talking incest there. That's a way of saying my other person, my bride. You can see why I would choose, I'm going to get all verklempt in a moment here. You can see why I would choose this as a dedication to Judy. So that's what's going on here. The very first part where it's just the flute, you can read in the program notes. That happened 20 years ago, right? Not long before I met Judy. I had a dream, a very, very sad and beautiful dream. And that first part dates from that day. The first part that the rabbi will be playing on the flute with just a cello. And then the instruments will pick up the theme and we'll take it from there. So, Awake North Wind. And before I say anything else, I want to thank all of these wonderful performers behind me. We, as you probably know, we are wealthy in this community in talented musicians. It is just delightful to be able to have a piece like this and find people who are, out of the wonderful goodness of their heart, willing to perform it and perform it so beautifully. So, thank you.